In this week's Follow the Money, a new report, America's Most Wasted Runaway Spending. It highlights 51 examples of taxpayer waste adding up to $27 billion, as identified by Senator John McCain. We first asked him about a $25,000 National Endowment for the Arts grant for an art project entitled Something Rotten.
It's garbage art is what they happened to be paying money for, and these are various depictions of garbage in certain locations and certain views of it, remarkable.
The National Endowment for the Humanities awarded $600,000 for a 2-hour film on Walt Disney.
In my generation and later generations, we grew up on Walt Disney. So why you would have to spend $600,000 to further educate the American people, and we all love Walt Disney.
The National Institutes of Health awarded $51,000 to study drunk zebra finch birds.
The zebra finch birds. First of all, I'm not familiar with zebra finches, but I mean, it's hilarious to see if they've changed the tone when they're under the influence. Well, my tone, well, anyway, it's, it makes you laugh and it makes you cry.
Sometimes it's about choices. The National Guard is $100 million in debt and yet spent $14,000 on bubble balls.
It was some harebrained idea somebody had, and one of the other aspects of the National Guard you may have known, and that is the professional sports teams charging the taxpayers for honoring the veterans, honoring the men and women who serve. You would think that, gee, this is a great thing that the New York Jets are honoring our veterans and our men and women who are serving, and absolutely they're being paid for it.
$3.5 million on wine tasting. What's that about?
Shouldn't the wineries do that themselves rather than have the government do that? And so this was part of their program to
promote wine?
Yeah, to promote wine.
$262 million in mismanaged FEMA grants, the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
Well, after Hurricane Katrina, as you know, billions of dollars have been spent, and all Americans are in favor of that, of reconstruction of New Orleans and the areas surrounding it. Unfortunately, a lot of that money was wasted. We know that, and that's just one of the small numbers that I think we're going to find over time.
And $413 million to be wasted on duplicative State Department training center. A facility is being built?
They decided that they needed another training center when the fact is that no one else believed they needed it, including the Inspector General, who said, look, this is totally unnecessary. It was just one of those kind of things that somebody had the idea, let's have another one, even though it wasn't necessary. We laugh about the birds getting drunk, but when you see something like that, there's no humor there. It's anger, and the problem is we don't hold people accountable.
As chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Senator McCain helped amend the 2016 National Defense Budget to limit the Pentagon's use of millions of tax dollars for professional sports advertising until it reviews current contracts to see if it's worth it. And speaking of outrageous spending, on the next full measure, nonprofits and public charities raise over $1.7 trillion a year. They show $3 trillion in assets. With all that money, we found a lot of their executives are taking home uncharitably huge salaries.
But I think a lot of people would be surprised how much money the executives are bringing home, putting in their own pocket.
That's next week on Full Measure. And coming up soon, our Scott Thuman will report from Cologne, Germany, where the assaults on women on New Year's Eve, reportedly by groups of men from North Africa and the Middle East, have created an uproar across Europe and are bringing a new, hard look at the open-door refugee policy. The sexual assaults committed by groups of men are called the rape game and common in many Arab countries, and particularly in Egypt. We'll hear from women who were attacked and from leaders who want to stop the assaults and maybe the influx of refugees. Thanks for watching this week. I'm Sharyl Attkisson. Until next time, we'll be searching for more stories that hold powers accountable.